All right, welcome to Sister Talk No Filter. We have another great episode for you. We are talking about living single.
Yes, living single and dating within your 30s and 40s. So, this is going to be excellent. I'm excited. So, let's kick us off. Who wants to go first, right? So, I'll start by Jennifer. Introduce yourself and
Uh,
go ahead. If you could
sure.
describe dating at your current age in one word, what would it be?
Okay. I am Jennifer Hall, originally from Teaneck, New Jersey. um, I am 35 and dating at my age. I would say self-discovery. I know that's two words, so I'm sorry, but self-discovery.
Nice. Lindsay?
Okay, so hi, I'm Lindsay Allison Russell. I just turned 36, so I'm 36. um, and dating at my current age, I'm gonna stay on the positive note, and I'm gonna say enlightening. It's very enlightening.
I'm Shamani. I recently moved to Florida from New York. I'm 40 years old, and I would say that one word that describes dating is silent, because I feel like men don't talk much, especially online. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my opinion.
All right, so that just really introduces us into our first theme. So, how to meet new people. So, the first question is what is the difference between dating now versus dating in your 20s? Good old 20s. Order you choose.
I'll start with that. So I think now versus in my 20s, I'm dating with more of a purpose in mind. I think in my 20s I was just dating just to be dating because that's what you do in your 20s. You know, you go, you have fun, you meet new people, you do new things. And I think with me being now 36, with a whole year I feel like has been lost because of COVID. Um, I'm like, my ultimate goal is obviously, well, for me, is to be married and start a family and have kids and everything. So I think with my 30s, I'm more focused on who I'm dating and why I'm dating them and if there's really even a purpose or a reason for me to be dating them. So I think it's more focused for me personally.
Piggyback on what Lindsay was saying. Definitely in my 20s, I just felt like, hey, I'm in college. Let's just like have fun. Let's, see what's out there. Um, but now it's definitely different. I have a career and just trying to align what I would say that I want as well as the other person, what they want. Making sure that they are also career minded and goal oriented, because that's important for me. I mean, we really don't have too much in common if you don't have like goals for yourself. So um, I would say that's the big difference.
I would say for me, when I was in my early 20s, and Shanae can attest to this, I met most of the guys I dated at work because I was working in offices and I was a bit of a hot tamale. And I felt like, I was like, oh, this dating thing is easy. I'm meeting people left and right. And then I went into teaching and there are not many men in teaching. And then if there are, they're married or they weren't my type. It just wasn't a lot to choose from. So then so as of now, my dating has slowed down because it's just like, I feel like there's not so many to choose from. I have to look outside of work and I have to put myself out there more and be more social to meet someone. So it's a little bit different.
We have this, this image of what dating's like in our 20s, and then we move into our 30s, and we're just thinking differently. So I definitely love the answers. So with that, what are your likes and dislikes about meeting new people at this stage of dating? Be honest. Tell it all.
Okay. So I ended a relationship. Well, I didn't end it, but we mutually ended a relationship last year. And dating again is like just peeling back the layers of someone and their intentions. Are you just talking to me to really get to know me? Are you talking to me because you want something physical? Like, why are you, what's the purpose? I do date online. I'm trying. That's a gift and a curse. But I see everybody's faces and they're like, yeah. So, it's hit and miss. That's all I could say.
I don't like it. I don't like meeting. So let me take. It's not that I don't like meeting new people, but when it comes to dating, you have to I don't like small talk, regardless of who you are. So I feel like there's so much small talk when it comes to dating. And like Jennifer said, with the online dating in particular, it's like, how you doing? What you doing? What's your favorite color? What kind of movies do you like? And you have to do this over and over and over again. And it's I feel like a hamster on the wheel, just going round and round and round. And I think it is a little different, well, it's a lot different when I actually meet somebody in person. So I feel like there's not necessarily as much small talk because I can see your face. We can kind of gauge the conversation, have a better range of, just simple things. But this meeting new people, I don't really like it. It's probably why I'm in the rut that I'm in, because I just don't like, I don't like it.
I was excited about dating when I moved to a new place. And I turned 40 in quarantine in a new town. And I felt encouraged at first because it was like I was doing a lot of meetups and I was meeting new people, and it's way easier. I feel like it's easier to date here in Florida compared to New York because I'm in a smaller town. There's more likelihood to run into the same people, especially if you join certain groups, and it's easier to travel. Transportation's easier. I'm more likely to go hang out after work, whereas in New York, it's like it's a commitment to try to plan to go out, and how am I getting there, and how much is it going to cost, and how long is it going to take. And by then, I'm like, forget it. So I was encouraged by that, and I was encouraged by doing an online dating workshop during quarantine because the dating expert encouraged me by saying, this is the best time to sort of put yourself out there because you don't really have to go anywhere. Like, you don't have to be pressured to show up on a date, because you have to be safe. So this is the best time to get to know people. So that is what I liked about it. Then when I actually got into online dating again, I'm like Lindsay, like I compared it to I used to compare online dating to electrocution. Like, it just felt like torture. It was like trying to pull teeth, like you said, trying to get a man to ask you questions. Like, I feel like Lindsay got further than me. Nobody asked me my favorite color. Nobody asked me what movies I like.
But they only asked because I asked them.
Exactly. And I felt that stress, like, okay, now what am I going to ask him? Because he's not asking me anything. And so that's the part that I don't like about it. I feel like I'm the only one interested.
Yeah. That's the tough part.
I'm gonna add my 2.5 cents to this. 'Cause I absolutely hate online dating. I will admit that is how I met my significant other. But it was like my last weekend on the I was like, whoever I'm not talking to by 11:59 on this Sunday, and we have not exchanged information, I'm done. Because if another person asked me another question about myself, I was just tired of talking. And it wasn't even talking, it was this. And I'm just like you said, I don't want to do the small talk. And although it's not repetitive with that person, you just did it 150 times. So I was the person who I would do it for a month and delete the account. And then I was like, all right, let me try it again. So Philippe would be in my ear and saying, he's not going to break into your house. He's not going to break into your office to find you. Like, you have to put yourself out there. And my friend group, they were either married or we were single and having fun. But we single and having fun, but we all single and not dating each other. So, yeah. All right. So moving right along. This is something that I'm about to step on my own toe on. The concept of being settled in your ways. So the question is, if you've been single for an extended amount of time, do you find it harder to share your time, space, and energy? For me, the answer is absolutely yes.
Say not it.
You can take a moment of silence.
Right, we got to reflect.
Definitely.
I definitely found when I was online dating that I'm definitely used to being by myself and living by myself. So I know how to entertain myself. So it's like, yes, I want to go on a date and I want to go out, but I wasn't really excited to keep texting back and forth with someone. I felt like there's so many other things I could have been doing and found other things to do. So I felt like I was being rude and probably coming off as, I'm sure it was a turn off that I was just like, I'm not reaching out to this man. I'm not checking in on him. Maybe like once a week I would like check in or whatever and say what's up and have a little conversation, maybe talk for a half hour or so. And then I had no desire to talk to that person for the rest of that week. And it could just be the level of interest that I had in them. But I did start to notice like, wow, like you really would rather watch Real Housewives than talk to this person. And there's something wrong with it. So for sure, I'm stuck in my ways. I'm very interested to see what a man thinks about me once I'm in a relationship and just how much I'm used to just being, with me and not really considering another person. Even though I feel like I do when I'm in a relationship, consider that other person, but we shall see.
So I have been single for a very long time, as in not in a relationship. And I think I'm on the fence. I want to share my time and my space and my energy with somebody else, but I think the same, if I'm not interested, it's just not gonna happen. And not being interested happens in multiple different ways. If I'm the only one holding on the conversation, or if I feel like I'm doing too much to try to like keep a conversation going on, or if I'm always reaching out, my interest fades.
Yeah.
But I also think it goes back for me to the online dating thing. If I have met the person in person, I'm more likely to want to be like, oh, so let's meet up, let's do this, let's do that. But online, I feel like there's a bigger disconnect for me where I'm just like, oh, you could really be crazy, and I don't know that I want to be in your space. I don't, I don't know that I want to actually meet up with you anywhere. So I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm on the fence where I want to be able to, share my time and space, but I just haven't found the one that I want to do that with.
I have to agree with Lindsay regarding just the meeting up part. I will text. I'll be honest, I'll text you. But to me, I'm like, okay, I don't know about the meeting up part. I was like, I don't know. You might be crazy. I have to send my friends just, where I'm at, who I'm with. I'll send them pictures, but I just don't know if I'm like ready to meet up. And furthermore, I just feel like as far as like space and time, work, I'm like definitely a workaholic. I'm very much guilty. And I often had told my ex, I was like, hey, like I have to do things for work. So like, is there any way that we could like try to do things around like, not my work schedule, but like I'm tired, after working all day, I'm tired. So I feel like the work balance and dating balance is very difficult for me because of the demands of my job. But if the person is worth it, I will. I have no problem with trying to make the accommodations, but I haven't really met anybody else that was worth that extra time. So we'll see.
And you guys brought up something as far as meeting up. When I did that online dating workshop, when I first moved to Florida, one of the first things the dating expert said was that it's harder as a woman to date when it comes to safety. And then she pointed out Florida is the sexual assault capital of the country or something like that. And I said, oh, so that just made me, a little more nervous and more sort of obviously vigilant. Like I was using a Google Voice number and I wasn't using my real name, and I changed my location, and then I found that guys are really trying to find out where you live. Like I had guys even try to, want to know the exact street like that I live on, but then I'm asking him where he lives, and he's like, oh, I live on the corner of such and such and wherever. Like he's being very vague, very vague. Come to find out, I wasn't the only person he might have been married actually. So, and I'm like, okay, don't give me your information, but don't try to get my information. And also that men were like really trying to find ways to have their first date in my house.
Or in their house.
In their house, like, oh, let me cook for you. Like, no, I'm good. Like, I know what you're trying to do. Or let's go to the park, or let's go to the beach. Like, this is a very outdoor state. So it's very easy for a guy to get away with just, not really spending a couple dollars on you even for a coffee by just saying, let's go fishing. And I'm like, those all sound like great dates, but not for my first date. On my first few dates. Like I'm trying to be wooed and, courted a little bit. And that's another problem. I don't know. I haven't met guys that are really like trying to impress me and trying to date me and trying to, make me feel like a lady.
That safety aspect is real serious though. Like, I feel like that's one of the first questions that guys ask me is, do you live by yourself? Well, what city do you live in? Well, where? What part of your husband? What is your real name?
Right.
How about that? Let's start with what your name is, and then maybe down the line I'll tell you where I live. But
something I can Google.
And please, something I can Google. And like you said, I have Google Voice, and I don't here's a number. Here's a number. But Yeah, it's a lot more to think about safety wise, because you see story after story every other day of things that happen as a woman, and it's nerve-wracking.
Sure.
And to piggyback on what Charmaine said, um, like having a plan, like to me, I'm not like 100% old school, but if you're wooing me, have a plan. I had a guy I think it was Friday. He asked me, he said, well, what do you want to do? Now I've come from a long day of work and you're asking me what I want to do. Now it's sweet, but it's not that sweet because I need a man with a plan. You're not showing me a plan if you're asking me, hey, what do you want to do? That's not cool for me. I need for you to have a plan. I have some initiative to what you want to do with me. To me, that goes back to valuing time. How are you valuing my time if you're asking me what I want to do?
Because I really want to go to bed.
Right. And I'll be honest, that's exactly how it went down, Lindsay. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of tired. So I had a long day at work. It's really, really stressful. So maybe we can go out another time. That's exactly how it went down. It did.
Because if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you, I would really prefer to get in my bed and watch reruns of Law and Order.
Right.
But
Went to sleep.
Specifically SVU.
Yes.
the SVU, exactly. Specifically,
Right.
yes.
So Jennifer, picking back off of what you just said, that leads me into our next question. Do you know what you're looking for? And are you ready for them if you find them or they find you?
So for me, I would say, am I ready for them? 100% no, not at this time. I feel like there's some things that I have to work through personally. And that's why I said self-discovery, because I know for me, I had to repair, I'm in the process of repairing a relationship with my father. So, you can't find love with another man if you can't get your love correct with your father. So I'm just trying to work on me, but I am trying to, I know it sounds odd, I'm trying to date because the process of like vetting men, like I've listened to a lot of like online coaches and they're like, well, ladies, you have to learn how to vet properly. And I'm like, but I don't like doing that. So I just don't. So, I mean, I have to learn in, I guess, vetting men, how to find out like what I want, but I also have to find myself. It's like really, really weird. So that question is kind of layered for me, but I mean, hopefully one day I'll get there.
I like to think I'm ready. I want to say that I am ready. And I know what I want. Let me put it this way. I know what I don't want. And I think that's come with a lot of, meeting people and in the process of dating of, okay, you're great, but I can't deal with that. I won't deal with this, and I'm definitely not going to deal with that. So I definitely know what I don't want, and I think about 85%, 90% sure of what I do want. So I feel like there's still some kind of room for discovery, but ultimately, I think I would be ready if they showed up at my door, right? Hey, that's me. Oh, yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
I have learned that I'm looking for a man, I want a man that has been raised by a man. Because I've seen the difference. In the men that I've dated, I've probably dated more men that have not known their fathers or been raised by their fathers. And then I dated a couple that have been raised by their fathers. And I see the difference in the way they treat me. I feel like the men that I dated that had a relationship with their fathers and were, you know, and sort of learned how to be a man from their father, they held me more as a priority, first of all. Like I felt like I was someone that meant something to them and that they wanted to spend time with me. I felt like they wooed me a little bit, tried to impress me, you know, bought me flowers, did things to really like, and actually planned dates and thought about things and, you know, thought about what I wanted. So it took the lead financially on the first couple dates, and but also respected my intelligence and wanted me to be the leader in a relationship in that way. Sort of like they still wanted me to be sort of the lead in the relationship, which was interesting. And they respected my intelligence as a woman and didn't want to kind of put me down, but they also played a role to make me feel special, if that makes sense. I feel like at the moment I'm not ready because I'm not happy with my post-quarantine body. And that makes me self-conscious. You know, I definitely want to be as confident as possible going into a relationship. Now that I've turned 40, there's so many things that I used to care about that I don't care about anymore. So many things I wanted to work on in myself that I'm like, whatever. It is what it is at this point. I am who I am. But that's one thing I want to work on. But I do feel like once I reach those goals, I think I can work on my financial goals and my health goals while I'm in a relationship. Like I think I'll be okay to be in a relationship as I continue to improve myself. So
It's so interesting that you said that because we all are so critical of ourselves. Because as you were talking, I was like, Shamani looks good. I haven't seen her in a while.
aw,
Right.
Looks good.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So as we're shifting, I guess I can give my little whatever. Because a few of you talked about saying that you're ready and being ready, because there's definitely a difference between the two. Because I know for many years I could say I was ready, but then the quarantine sat me down because the world shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Very much like Jennifer mentioned in terms of just gotta work, gotta be here, have to be at this place, have to be all to this institution where I work, to my friends, to my family, like checking all these boxes. So if it wasn't for having to slow down and being open to other things, I think that was important for me. So staying ready and being ready was completely different in my case. As we shift to talk about balancing a successful career with loving dating, that goes in along the lines of saying that you're ready and actually being ready. So the question is, how do you balance your career while dating? Do you make time for a love life? Time.
I mean, I'll just start it off first. No, I'm not good at that right now. Ever since we have started quarantine, well, kind of like with COVID and quarantining and stuff, my job has had the option of working from home and also working in the community. And the working from home piece it's like I get up and I see my computer and it's like, hey, we got work that we have to do. So I'm not thinking necessarily about dating. The first thing on my mind is like, okay, you have work that you have to do for the people that pay you. So it's very, very hard for me. I'm trying to do my best to shift my mindset, especially because of everything that happened with COVID, because I'm neglecting myself, I would say, when you're not doing what you need to do for you. And I'm a social worker. So it's like, if you want to take care of other people, you have to take care of yourself. And I'm so guilty of like taking care of everything I need to at work and not taking care of myself. So I'm trying, but it's very, very hard. it's very hard for me.
I think I used to have a problem balancing work and dating. And that's when honestly, that was pre-COVID. That was pre-COVID, where I was, excuse me, I was traveling for work all the time. So there was really no time for me to meet somebody and kind of establish anything. And then when I wasn't at work, I was in church all the time. So again, there wasn't like I have all this extra time to do anything. And I think part of what Shanae was saying is COVID sat me down and it was like, so what you gonna do? Are you gonna be a workaholic? Are you just gonna be focused on your work? And I think it took COVID for me to say, you know what? I'm not about to do this, because if something were to happen to me, my job is not gonna hold my position. They're gonna find somebody else. So I had to learn, and I think going into COVID, I was learning I need to balance the two. I need to balance my personal life and I need to balance my career way better than what I'm doing, because I was missing out on things. I was missing out on going out with my friends. I was missing celebrations. I was missing family stuff. And I had to realize, well, these are the memories that I'm going to want, rather than, oh yeah, that's the year I went to do 17 inspections this year. Like, who cares? So I had to really learn how to balance my life in general. So I think now it with that balance came more time for me to actually date or want to date. And I will cut it off. Like, yeah, I'm working from home, but I'm cutting you off. The computer is off at a certain time. It's on at a certain time. If I am taking my lunch. I can't continue to just work, because it doesn't make me happy that way. And that's a whole other story too, but it could be with what I'm doing, it's easier for me to balance it as well. So, but yeah, that balance is it's a necessity.
I feel like my location, where I am now, it's going to be easier to balance work and dating. It was weird because when I first got down here, right before COVID hit, my job was pretty exhausting. So I wasn't hanging out during the week, but I was getting out on the weekends. And before I started working, I was meeting a lot of people. I was meeting mostly women. Like, I found a good group of girlfriends that were single, but these heifers done found men in quarantine, which is rude. But it was like 5 girls and we were all single. I was like, what? And then, COVID hit and everything shut down. We weren't really doing anything. But now at my new job, I feel like I have more energy after work. And I think that I would be more willing to do things after work. And there are a lot of things going on over the weekend though. Before COVID, there was some stuff going on. So I'm really looking forward to being able to get back out there. There's more daylight here. So it's like the weather is nice 90% of the time. So I'm way more likely, I have seasonal affective disorder for real. So this was like the place for me, because like if it's sunny outside, I'm in a better mood and I want to go out and I want to do more. Whereas, in New York, forget about it. If it's cold or it's getting dark or whatever, I'm not anxious to be out there like that. So I'm positive about being able to balance my work and social life. So yeah, I'm just counting down. So everybody get vaccinated.
Back out in these streets.
Exactly.
So with the balancing of, your career and your love life, or just dating, just, meeting up with people, I think that also goes a long way. Like Lindsay said, even, you miss family things, like, always trying to balance your job versus everything else is just like an ongoing cycle. So with you ladies, you are all accomplished and doing so great in your careers. So I wonder, on the flip side, does the person that you're dating, does their career, their status, or their drive, does that impact you? Does it even matter? Yes, right?
Yes. Yes.
So is that one of the questions that you ask when you're dating? What is your career? What is your job?
It is. It's one of the questions that I ask. I actually like to ask, do you like it? How long have you been doing it, and do you enjoy it? Because you could be like me and I have been in the same field for the past 10 years, and certain years are better than others. But that's definitely a question to ask. What do you do? Do you enjoy it? How long have you been doing it? Do you have other passions? Do you have other things that you're doing on the side that, even if you're 9 to 5 or whatever, isn't making you as happy, that you have other things that you're kind of working on and doing that gives you that passion, which is something that I had to personally learn and start doing. But their drive is a necessity. Because sometimes I have my days where I'm like, I don't care. But I have people in my life who are like, girl, let's come on now. Let's get it. And so it kind of helps me, okay, let me get it back together. So I feel like I definitely need and want my significant other to be passionate about what they do, or, just if it, again, like I said, if it's not necessarily their main thing, that their main career that they're super passionate about, if they have other things that they're working on or taking part in that gives them that passion, that's so they're not just like, I think that helps. I think it definitely helps overall.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Lindsay. They have to have their own passion and be willing to do, just be inspired. I feel like that was one of the things, like previously in my last relationship, it was like, I want to do this, and I felt myself like really trying to inspire him as far as his goals and his passions. Whereas, I have my own goals and my dreams and aspirations too, and it wasn't reciprocated. So now I know going into a future relationship is like, it has to be mutual, but you have to be willing to move forward with what you want to do. Like, of course, I'll be there as a significant other to support you, but we have to be able to support each other because it's a team. So it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it takes a lot to be passionate about your own stuff and give yourself a push, and then push somebody else who may not necessarily be as passionate. They want to do it, they really want to, but it's like, I can't want to push you to do it more than you want it for yourself.
Right. And then I felt like a surrogate mother, and that's something that I don't want to sign up for. No. So, things happen. So I was shown in that relationship that, going back to what you want, that's something that I don't want, so it was a learning lesson.
Yeah, I do ask men what they do, but I find that it's just one of those small talk questions that you ask somebody, especially online, like sort of a get to know you type thing. I really don't mind what career he has, but I would like him to have a career where like he has room to grow, and that he wants to grow, that there's some sort of goal that you have in mind that you would like to do better. And that you're working to do better and not just stagnant. Some people may think that sometimes a man might think that I'm looking for a guy that also has a master's degree like me, and I'm definitely not. Like, I like a man that work with his hands, honey. So that's my type.
You don't want to pay that labor fee. That's what you don't pay that labor fee.
So that's definitely not the case. As long as you in your place, and especially at this age, like you found your space and what you want to do, and you're working to be the best at it. That's good for me.
Yes. So with this entire conversation, it's been really good. It's hearing everything, the online dating world, I'm sure is different in itself, but then with COVID on top of it, it just brings everything to light. You have a new perspective on what you want, what you don't want. And so I'm curious to know, so for me, I'm really big on love languages. And for me, a love language of mine is affirmations. I love for my significant other to give me words of encouragement and just, gas me up a little bit. Like I need that. I want that. And so affirmations is very important to me. That's one of my love languages. So I'm curious do you all know what your love language is?
My, and it's typically always tied, is quality time and physical touch.
Ooh.
So COVID has been hard.
Ditto, quality time. But the irony is it's quality time, but then I have to like that work-life balance. So, it's odd, but I'll get there.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I had to look up love languages because I haven't like gotten deep into them. Like I always hear people talk about it, but I'm like, what are the love languages? But mine is also quality time. I want to feel like I'm a priority. I do not, if I feel like I'm the last person you think of, our relationship is not going to last long. And I want you to take time to appreciate me and time to think about what I might want and what might make me happy, and check in with me and, see what's going on with me, and just give me some space in your life. Like, I don't have to come before your mama, but close. Right after.
Listen, I need to come before your mother, but not before Jesus. And that's about it.
Listen,
Right.
listen.
Right.
We grown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Aisha, you know what I just realized? You have not been in these single streets in your 30s, 40s, 50s.
It's been a long time. Yes, I haven't been single in about 10 years. So yeah, it's different. So the online world, I've heard about it, and everyone has a story, and I'm always like, yikes, because I know my personality, and it wouldn't work for me.
It wouldn't work. You'd never meet a person ever.
Never, because I'm always scared to meet people. First off, everyone's stranger danger. And, I'm all about, bringing equipment to make sure you're safe, whatever that equipment might be. So it just wouldn't work. But even being in a relationship, some of these themes that we talk about, you still have to work on within your relationship, growing through your career, balancing that. You may have a significant other, but you still got to make time for that person versus what you're doing to make money. So all of those themes still play an impact within your relationship. So, and again, as you're growing, I've been in the same relationship for 10 years, but I'm not the same person. So, you still have to go through that cycle of getting to know the person you're dating again. And yes, I still date. I think you should still date your husband or your wife or whatever it is. You could still date. So just making sure you're making time for those things. So yeah, the cycle never stops, right? Like you're always going to date your significant other once you meet them, and balancing, and it's just, you're dealing with people, right? So
Mhm.
The reason I asked that, I kind of put her on the spot a little bit, but part of the reason why the Talk No Filter was started is because I would go on dates and Fleur would like, tell me more, like what happened, how weird was this one? Like,
yeah.
I just need to know. Like, and she would be so fascinated. I'm like, my life sucks. Like, these people are weird out here.
It's interesting to hear these grown men are acting like this.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think my married friends did the same stuff. Did you go out?
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Did you go out? Leave me alone. Like, how are your kids doing? Why are you asking me these questions? Yes, I went out. And if I had something to tell you, I would have told you. But I don't. So, let's not go there.
It's true. It's true. They do. Are you going out? Are you still contacting, X, Y, and Z? Are they getting it together? I'm like, you're still working all the time. You can't meet a man if you're working all the time. I know. I got bills I have to pay though.
That's me. That's how I am with Shanae. I was like, are they coming to your door? Is it the delivery person? I need you to get out this house. And this was before COVID.
It was hard. It's a hard thing to do. Like dating, it's nothing like I thought it would be. If I'm being completely honest, dating is nothing like I thought it would be. Like watching Living Single, watching all these shows, it's like, oh, this is gonna be easy. This is
The years wasted in those 20s. I don't think about, no, I'm gonna say I wasted years wasted in because I gave people years, have been months. And now I'm learning that some people should have been days. So it's just like my 20s, I spent like in serial, like monogamous relationships. And I look back and I'm just like, ugh.
But I think it's going back to at least like you've learned through that. And that's what I try to like look at it now to reframe it, as far as instead of saying, you know what, this person, we dated and things didn't go well and it was a waste of my time. I would say the first 2 days, I felt like that. The first 2 or 3 days, that's that process of a breakup where you're angry and it's like, I wasted my time with this fool, all that stuff. But then after a while, when you take a step back, it's like, you know what? I learned that through this relationship, maybe these are some things that I contributed that were not healthy. These were things that person contributed that were not healthy. And moving forward, this is not like, these are some things that I don't want. Going back on what Lindsay said, it brings a clearer perspective as far as I don't want that, so. But I hear what you're saying though, Shanae.
But I can give you the name and the address of a waste of my time.
We all have one.
Yes.
We all
I'm
have
not doing
one.
that today.
But don't give it to me today, please. Don't put them out there.
Ladies, this has been fun.
Yes.
We thank you so much for just being transparent and sharing with us. What do you say, Shanae?
Absolutely. I was affirming what you were saying.
We thank you so much. Is there any final words?
Thank you guys. I haven't seen Shanae since like A&T days, like when I was at A&T and she was at Hampton, and Talia, I haven't seen you since probably like 2001. I know it's been a long time. So I appreciate you ladies and letting me come by and, just share a couple of thoughts and, keep doing big things. You all inspire me as well. So.
Yeah, same here. Thank you so much for having me on, for thinking about me. This was a good time. Definitely a good time.
Good.
Yeah, I feel the same. Thanks for thinking of me, because when Talia asked me, I was like, do I need to be an expert on dating? Because I'm not.
Listen, we all out here trying.
Yeah, it's nice to see that, we all kind of seem to be kind of in the same zone and dealing with the same issues. So I do feel a little bit better. And I'm not the person, usually I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be on camera. So I'm kind of proud of myself for actually
I'm proud of
coming
you
through.
too. I was surprised you said yes.
And listen, you never know who's gonna see this. Somebody may see it and be like, "That's the woman for me."
Right, right. There we go. There we go. That's my wife. She
Never
was
know.
on camera.
Right.
Well, ladies, thank you. And that is a wrap for episode 3.